Hello everyone, this is Waldorf.
And this is Statler.
Now we have Battle Report 323.
323.
Orcs and Goblins versus Dread Elves.
At Huzzah Hobbies.
And this is the first game I played against the new Dread Elves. This is the alpha, beta, whatever Dread Elves.
This is the current iteration, okay?
Yes. And this is this is also after the point adjustment.
Okay.
So I think that we played the last game we recorded was with the point adjustment, but this is the first one.
Yes, it was. It was.
After the point adjustment, my list changed very little. This is what I'm running currently. I think this is what I ran in the last game you watched. We recorded. The only thing different in this one is my Feral Orc Shaman. Oh, he did it in the Undead again too. The Pyromancy. He's taking Pyromancy. There it is.
Yeah, because you had to get launcher the last time also. Yeah.
Yep. And so Pyromancy, it took Cascading Fire Cloak, which is the new spell to bring down initiative and defensive weapon skill.
Mm-hmm.
Enveloping Embers, because, I figured big units of goblin...
whatever
they are. Fireball, because I wanted more than a 24-inch range. I was going to take Pyroclastic Flow, but I switched out to Fireball because I wanted to be able to shoot something at his bolt thrower.
Okay.
And Flaming Swords, bring the pain.
So
I don't, and the Flaming Swords was kind of
So you have 3 buffs, 3 combat, 1 magic missile, and kind of a zap spell.
Yeah, and the reason I did not go heavy on the attack spells is the hereditary for him. The new hereditary that they have, which we may discuss at some point. He took a Temple Legate, who's the general.
Oh, okay.
Is it a legate or legate? One of the two. He's the general. He's a warsmith. He has the Blades of Darag, Essence of Mithril, and the Mask of the Warcrow. That's the one that gives you fear.
Okay.
You get fear, and there's another benefit to it. I don't recall what it is. He took a Legion Legate. It was a BSB on a Mana Core. He's got paired weapons and a shield, Hero's Heart, Alchemist Alloy, and the Obsidian Rock.
Okay.
I guess he figured with Elves you got a high enough weapon skill that you can afford to knock yourself down to on your offensive. The paired weapons make up one of it, so it's not a huge deal. Warlock Outcast of Cosmology. He was a master.
I believe it's pronounced cosmetology.
Cosmetology. He was a master of cosmetology.
Yeah.
Light armor, binding scroll, and a scepter of power. Because the Temple Legate, the Warsmith gives you the. That's what the other thing it gives you is you take 2. You're a adept of alchemy with the Warsmith. The other Legion Legate has a Raptor Chariot, a Lance, Shield, Basalt Infusion, and a Dragon Staff.
Wow, that's a lot of characters. Okay.
2 units of Legionnaires, 23 and 20, full command, Rending Banner, Spears with both these. 15 auxiliaries without full command, a champion, a musician, and they have those top 3 units all have that Academy trained, +1 to wound in the first round of combat. 10 Corsair, raiding party, which were the old Corsairs.
Yeah, she took those guys. Wow.
5 Shadow Riders with repeating crossbows, a Raptor Chariot, 5 Dread Knights with a Champ and a Lance, 8 Harpies, a Kraken.
Oh, he's unleashing the Kraken.
He unleashed the Kraken. And he's got 2, the Kraken has 2, whatchamacallits with it.
Yeah, don't bring that up.
Anyway, and 5 Black Cloaks who are the Scouts, and a Repeater Battery, the new Repeater Battery, but only 1. Because there could be only 1. If it was only 1, it would be fantastic. It wouldn't be that bad of a weapon. Anyway. The Kraken, I was asking him why he didn't put it on the giant base, because he gets 2 more handlers with that. And it's free.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
We got to take the carrot. Oh,
What?
I think you have to take the character to get that,
No,
don't you?
no, it's just a free upgrade.
Yeah, get those strength 3 attacks.
2 more
Devastating.
strength 3 attacks. What? I don't know what your problem is. I don't know how you would pass on that. So moving on, alchemy. He took the Word of Iron for his armor and Gloria Gold, +1 AP and flaming magic, and of course, the default makes you the attribute makes you flaming.
It's a funny looking card.
Yeah, ice and fire, perception of strength, unity and divergence, and he took the hereditary, and he just threw this other card in just to have something
because he's got the old one.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, Curse of the Phantom Queen. Let's talk about that for a moment. This is why, when I was playing him, I said I'm not taking any attack spells, and I would have loved to be playing Shamanism. But, I'm not going to switch my path just because of who I'm playing.
Right.
The new Curse of the Phantom Queen spell, cast on an 8, by the way. If it's cast on the unit with my mage in it, every wound my mage does to somebody causes a strength 4 AP2 hit back to my own unit.
Yeah.
So I was looking at it, I was like, oh, I can take the, whatever it is, Scorching Salvo, and that'll hurt him bad because I'll hit a bunch of units. Yeah, great. And watch my unit slowly disappear from myself.
Yeah.
Anyway, something needs to be done. I think it's too powerful the way it is. Maybe the casting needs to go up. Something needs to happen to that spell. To cast on an 8 and to be able to, shut something down. And it's an auto win for a fight. If you're in a fight, you get that spell off on your unit, I don't know how you lose that fight. If it's even somewhat balanced. Anyway, going in. Anyway, that's just my own rant on that spell. Not a big fan of it. The way it stands.
But you would be a big fan of it in your army.
I wouldn't. I would use it because it would be fantastic.
It would be fantastic.
I mean, it is a fantastic spell.
Yeah, it's a bit over the top.
But the fact that it's all your close combat, shooting, and magical attacks, every wound you cause bounces a strength 4 hit back to your unit. Now, it wouldn't hit the mage directly unless he was by himself, but, I can't, I guess you can afford to trade orcs for elves. Maybe if I could put the mage into a unit of goblins and just watch them just fade away, it wouldn't be as bad. But anyway, especially in the big thing about it is especially in a combat.
Well, I don't think the mage thing is the issue. I think it's more the combat stuff.
I think the mage thing's pretty big because for an 8 casting, you shut that mage down, except for his buff spells.
Yeah, I mean, it depends.
He no longer wants to hurt you.
I think it depends on the army that you have and what your spells are. I mean, there's a whole combination of things, right?
I agree. And again, if you have multiple mages, you're better off.
It may cause you not to take certain spells like you did to get around it, or if you have an army that's got small, fragile units that your mage is in, then that's going to suck bad.
Yeah.
The guy who runs around with the skirmish bunkers.
Right.
Then it's terrible.
If it gets cast on.
Yeah, but it's you got some vermin swarm, okay, whatever.
Yeah. Let them die.
Undead, who cares? You're going to grow them back, so.
Anyway. Yeah, not happy.
So,
we'll see.
So I don't think that's so terrible. I think it's
pretty bad.
I think it's I don't like spells that are very strong against some opponents. I think it's unbalancing, I should say.
Right.
It's really strong against certain opponents. Again, when we're talking magic, not such a big deal against others.
Okay. But combat, it's strong against everyone.
I think the close combat's worse because, especially you got those, whatever the new, I forgot what they're called. The old witches unit.
Oh, yes. The witches.
It's got low weapon skill. It's going to take a lot of freaking, it's got a 5-up armor now, but still, it's going to take a ton of freaking wounds.
Yes.
So putting those things back, it's going to win that, and that unit already puts out so many freaking. It has a potential with the fighting extra ranks. Right. We still haven't done the army book review, but I
refuse.
Yeah,
no, I guess we can need to after I did this game.
Yeah, but it put out. You're going to take a lot of wounds, so you're going to put out so many attacks back, which is going to cause you to win.
I was explaining it to an ogre player who was like, "That doesn't sound that bad," and I'm like, "Okay, let's just say your mercenary unit gets a hold of something."
Yeah.
How do you, and you deal out 20 wounds. How do you feel about, above whatever he does to you, taking 20 strength 4 AP2 hits?
Yes.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Shall we move on? Yeah, sure, we should. Anyway.
So, yeah. So, I mean, anyone that's got that kind of stuff is not going to be too thrilled about that. And I say, skeletons, say, oh, you can grow back. That's a lot. You might just pop a unit.
Right.
Just because you've already killed a whole bunch of them with your attacks, if you have have it on the right unit, and then on top of it, they're taking a whole bunch more.
Right.
It's like, oh, I guess you're crumbling away.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm not a fan of this. I think the spell is way too good in certain situations, crappy in others. I don't like those kinds of spells, and so I'm sure it's going to get redone.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're sure.
I could be wrong, but I'm
not
sure.
so sure.
I'm sure it'll get redone.
So anyway, there was so we're playing map 7, and
those objectives are really close together.
They are, which was encircle, and we rolled the secondary, and it was secure target.
Okay.
They have not been placed.
So we have,
as I'm sure you're aware.
Terrain is.
What do we got? There's a wall up on the top left. Moving across is the hill, a field, impassable off to the right, forest down on the bottom right, tower impassable in my zone, and a ruin on the bottom left.
Okay.
And he chose to be up in the center, and which made me up in the flanks.
Okay, so but where's he putting his army?
He's not.
I see him up in the center.
What?
He's standing there.
He's standing there. It's that game actually started a little bit late because
I had no idea that he had a Dread Elf army.
I didn't either.
I
didn't recall.
I thought the Highborn Elves were going to be repurposed.
Repurposed?
Yeah,
Nope. Nope. So yeah, it was funny because we got started a little late because he said, okay, I'm going to be up in the center, you be up on the flanks. And he's like, okay, I'm going to go do a couple things. Okay, whatever. Go ahead and, set up. Because I told him I was going to drop everything and go first. So he's like, okay. He walks away. He came back. And he's like, aren't you a little close? Of course, I deployed in completely the opposite way. I deployed up in the center.
Oh.
When he said he was up in the center, I had to make some quick adjustments. Anyway. But there's where the two tokens ended up being. One close to the center of the board. The other one on the top, up on the top right.
Oh, he's over there. Okay.
He placed the one in the center, and I placed the one up on the top right, and then deployed kind of as you see here. I didn't take a picture because my deployment picture was on the wrong deployment.
Oh, okay. I thought that had to be it couldn't be that close to the board edge.
What's that?
The objective.
No, his might have a limitation. My limitation on mine is 12 out of my deployment zone, 24 away from him.
Yeah, I remember that.
Technically, I can put it all the way back against the back edge of his board if I want.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for some reason I thought it was 12 from the edge also. Okay.
So anyway, so that's that. Like I said, I've already, knowing where the secure target tokens were, I figured I'd place my two strongest units here in the center, and then the Black Orcs and pair of Boar Rider units on the right.
The what kind of orcs?
The dark-colored orcs that are made of iron.
Yeah.
Anyway, off on the top right.
It's kind of racist,
I am. So I moved the unit of Wolf Rider chariots out, the Wolf chariots out, and I wanted to move them.
Sorry, is your entire army? This is your entire army?
No, off to the left, I've got the Spider and another unit of Wolf Riders off to the left. And yeah, there's all my 3 artillery pieces.
Okay.
I wanted to move, like I said, I wanted to move the chariots out of the woods so that on my second turn I could just charge something without worrying about it.
Okay.
But as I was deploying it, he's like, okay, you remember these guys are movement like 6 or something.
5.
Well, +1 because they're the academy trained beside another
on the
academy
charge.
trained.
Yeah.
They go up to 6. Yeah. So he's like, oh, I'm like, oh, yeah, well, I can't afford a 12 to hit my chariots and then get through them because I've got nothing that can counter him after that. So, so I ended up having to back off. So they stayed in the woods.
Okay.
And not enough in the woods to get cover either, just in the woods.
It's the best way to deploy them.
But I'm still like...
At least one of them's out.
I'm like 18 away from that unit of archers back there. That's the unit of archers by the left of the.
Is that his mage in there?
And his mage is in there.
Yeah, that's a good target.
I'm like 18 away from it with my movement 9.
Yep. 10 if you call the.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. I was like, if things go right, I'll just call the war cry and take an 8 to get at him.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I've got to take a round of shooting. Anyway, the Iron Orcs just came up as far as they could on the far right.
At least you're not in short range of them.
Right, where they
get 3 shots each.
Yeah. Iron Orcs came up on the far right, just moving up because, again, if he wants to charge me with those guys, he's welcome to. He'll kill a bunch of me, but I should be able to finish him with great weapons and butcher the whatever they're called now, Raptor Riders.
Yeah, what's going on with those Wolf Riders?
Wolf Riders could not find a spot where they weren't out there farther forward, where they weren't going to either get shot or charged off. So they just kind of backed up.
I was curious about the formation.
I didn't want to go wide because I didn't want to block my bolt thrower back here, which is in the woods, so it can shoot at his Raptor Riders.
You're actually wider.
What do you mean?
If you would be 5 sitting in a line, you'd be.
Yeah, but I also didn't want to be. Yeah. Anyway, I also didn't want to be farther forward either. So I wanted to stay back so he couldn't move up and shoot me. I was worried of him shooting him off because I wanted to keep my chaff for a game. Thought that might be something different for me.
Okay.
Anyway, that was the idea there. Nothing major. So off on the other side of the board, Wolf Riders deployed here in the woods in the ruins and stayed there. 3 out of the 5 in the frontage is in the woods, so the ruins. So they get the penalty to shoot at me. And the spider actually stayed where he was because I was surprised when I deployed these 2 units here, the spider and this, that he put so much against them with the 2 tokens being on the other side. But the chariots and the kraken are all towards the center. They can still go to the right.
They can redirect. It doesn't look like a kraken.
It's a Hydra-looking kraken.
Yeah, I'm calling bogus.
And I don't see the handlers on it, to tell you the truth. So
Well, they might be inside.
Inside.
Yeah, that's where mine are going to be. They're going to be inside. They're going to fight from the inside.
And that's his BSB guy on the mana core.
Because I refuse to.
You refuse to place them.
Put those freaking guys on the bases. Yeah.
His BSB's there on the mana core, hiding. They're not on the hill. He's off the hill. Everything else.
Yeah, he's pretty far from his guys.
Well, he's got an 18-inch bubble.
I understand.
So this way he can cover the scouts and everything on the first turn, and then bounce over there to the right.
Yeah. He's behind the hill with everybody, right?
And he's behind the hill. No one can see him.
Yeah, except for the riders and the. Who's the 5 guys? Were those?
What? The 5 guys are his scouts.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway,
he did take those guys.
Yeah, he wanted to. I think he wanted to try a lot of different things.
It seems like it because he's got a smattering of some interesting stuff.
So on my turn, I just to hope to draw out some dice. I tossed a flaming swords on the spider. Just it's got 8 shots. The spider didn't move. So anyway, it's just something to see if he would draw out any dice, and of course he didn't. But then I also managed to get off the enveloping embers on that unit directly in front of me. The spear block, strength 3 hit. He's got 23 guys in that unit. I actually rolled well and did 14 wounds. They're AP 0, and he made 8 of 14 5-up saves. I'm sorry, 10 of 14 5-up saves because he only took 4 wounds.
Why'd you pick that unit? Was that the only one in range?
It was the only one within 24.
Okay.
My mage is down here on this unit in the bottom.
Okay.
And that's the only one within range.
Of course, the phone's ringing.
I wouldn't have minded.
Keep talking.
Okay. I was going to say, I wouldn't have minded hitting the unit of archers if they would have been within range as well.
Right.
That would have been my preferred target just because they're going to hurt me at range where the other guys are not.
Right.
All right. So that's it. So we're going to move on.
I can listen to my spam call while we're moving on.
And the first turn of the game, what do we got?
He's measuring.
Changing screens.
I don't know.
Screens. Let's see. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Now it's going to flip back and forth a couple times because I was messing with it to make it work. There we go. First turn of the game. Get launcher fires, rolls a misfire, re-roll the bully, takes a wound, and takes 2 turns off.
Okay.
Yeah, because I rolled, misfired, rolled again, it would have blown up and not been of any use for the rest of the game.
Right.
So I took the wound and re-rolled that, and it's out for this turn and the next. So,
Okay.
great. Wonderful. First turn.
Bolt throwers don't do that.
They don't. So I think the 2 bolt throwers may replace that again. One of the bolt throwers, I didn't record the shot. One of the bolt throwers shot and killed one of the Dread Knights up on the Raptor Riders up on the top right.
Oh, okay. That doesn't look good.
I shot with both the Wolf Riders and the Spider at stuff over here, did no wounds. And he shot with his guys over here, his scouts. They fired away, they're thrown weapons.
So we're on his turn now.
Back to his turn, yeah. He fired, killed 3 out of the 8, and sent me packing. Actually, I think he only killed 2. I think I lost 1 running out of the ruins.
10 shots on you, and yeah.
Yeah, 10 shots. He needed 6s or 5s.
5s probably.
Because he was -2 for the cover.
I think he's 3s and 5s.
Okay.
Then strength 3.
Yeah, same strength as me, and I've got a 4-up save, so I was not expecting to really get that hurt, but I did. So
yeah,
it's not that far off.
And you failed.
Anyway, so after that, the Kraken came marching forward. Look at him, just coming out.
Well, I'm sure it wasn't after that.
Well, before that.
Yeah.
Kraken came forward. The
Chariots
other guys
on the hill,
got
cavalry's forward.
Yep.
Other guys came towards the center, and looks like he's backed off his main battle line.
He did back up a bit.
Uh-huh.
And then his that's the end of his turn. This is going into my turn 2 up on the top, you'll see.
And is that his army spell on your chariots?
That is his army spell. His
I also see you're missing a chariot.
Yeah, he shot 1 off. I forgot what spell he cast or what he did to kill 1. And when he killed 1, I took the one on the far because he'd already done his spells. So I knew I had the hereditary spell on me. So I knew I wasn't going to be charging. So I went ahead and took the one that was out of the woods so I could back these up into the woods easy.
Okay.
And you can see he moved up his BSB guy on the Manicore, came up behind the chariot. That way he's getting cover from the 2 bolt throwers.
Right.
So I can see him because he's tall, but anyway.
He's more than tall.
They're both large. He's towering presence, but as far as line of sight, the tall is the only thing that really matters.
Yeah. No,
so anyway, so back to my turn 2. My turn 2, the Kraken came up there, and I'm going to, whatever, let's give it a shot. So the Spider's going to charge it. I'm looking at it, and I'm like, if he gets 3 wounds through, which, he's hitting me on 3s with a reroll, because he's hatred, so he might hit me 4 times. Wounds me on 3s. If he gets all 3 through, average at 6 wounds, right? D3 wounds apiece. So
yeah.
So I'm looking at average, he doesn't kill me, even slightly above average, and he doesn't kill me on the first turn. So I'm going to charge him. You probably heard that story many times before. Mm-hmm. On the far right, the Iron Orcs needed a 12 to charge those 4 guys. But to tell you the truth, I wasn't worried about being D6 inches closer. So I went ahead and went for the 12.
Yeah.
Again, I also figure if they go 6, then I've got the Wolf Riders that can go fling around in front of them and cause a problem.
He doesn't have a character in that unit, right?
No.
Yeah, he could take the charge anyway. He's only got 4 of them.
Yeah. None of us have characters on that right-hand side of the board. So neither of us is supposed to.
I mean, the charge will hurt, but you'll end up killing them.
Yeah, I think so. So there he goes. Spider got in, of course, and the Iron Orcs failed. And I think I rolled a 2 and a 2 or something, and they just inched forward. So I didn't even bother with the Wolf Riders coming around in front of them, like I had thought about. Over here, we cast a Fireball spell, got a Fireball spell off, and put 3 wounds onto his Bolt Thrower. Mm-hmm. His Bolt Thrower might have been what killed the chariot
Okay.
on his turn. I don't know what those dice were for, but I did 3 out of the 4 wounds to the.
Okay, so your movement, you just kind of.
I didn't go much closer.
Like you just maybe shifted it if you did anything.
Yeah, I shifted around a bit. The wolf riders and stuff over here on the right just kind of reorganized
holding
themselves.
your cavalry back, yeah, and back into the woods more with the chariot.
Yep. So that we take a woods penalty.
Okay.
So now if he wants to shoot me, he's got to move, range, and woods. So
and you have to not to get closer to the objective.
yeah, the objectives don't matter till the end of the game.
Yeah.
So I don't need to get closer. So we got that. So the spider kills the kraken. He did 5 wounds to me, which is right around what I thought.
Yeah.
But I was so happy because the kraken actually only did 2 wounds. A handler put in a 5th wound on me. So there you go. They are worth it.
Yeah. Okay.
So because I did that, I crushed it, overran, clipped his chariot.
Oh, I made to a chariot. Oh.
Yep. Which he was telling me was one of his huge mistakes. If he would have just stayed back on the back side of the hill, with just like the front on top of the hill,
right,
and then wait for me to kill if I kill the kraken, he countercharges and finishes me off. But anyway, so I ran forward and ran into the chariot, and back to his turn. Bottom of turn 2. Bottom of turn 2, he's going to charge me with both the chariot and the mana core into my big unit. I think he needed a 9 with the Manticore. The chariot was much less. And then the 4 Raptor Riders on the right are going to come in at the Iron Orcs. There you go.
Oh, okay.
Which made me happy.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, I can get rid of that threat. The scoring unit's gone. Then I just have to deal with the other guys. Unfortunately, both these made it. I did not measure this prior to this and did not know how close, which is, again, my mistake. I should have backed up an inch or 2 and made it a little bit harder for the mana core at least to get in. I don't care if 1 gets in, but 2 is going to be not so good.
Yep. You have to hope your spears do well.
He came in knowing he's going to issue a challenge with the mana core.
Yeah.
Based 4 of my guys with the mana core and only 2 with the chariot. And that's the chariot with the character on it.
It's not the other one. Oh, you're attacking the other one. Okay.
Yeah. And in addition,
so you've got 2 characters. Okay.
2 characters on me. I've got a champ, mage, and a BSB in that unit. So, also by doing it this way, of course, as you can see, the mana core is out of arc of my boar boys.
Yeah.
Another mistake on my part. With them coming that side, I should have been angled a bit.
Yep.
So I could see the front of my unit.
Probably both of them.
And here we go. They made it in over here. And his other guys came forward. I think they took a shot from a wolf rider last turn. That's why they're down 1.
Okay.
Nothing major was contributed to that. This turn, I forgot what spell he was casting. He used 4 dice on a spell and rolled 3 6s. So I let it go. And he did the 2 wounds to his mage.
Oh, okay. It's on his mage. All
yeah.
right.
So his mage has 1 wound left. He could have killed him because it was the one.
Are his harpies in the combat with your spider, or are they just
no? And you'll see that in a minute.
Okay.
It's a better picture of where they landed.
Oh, it looks like you shot up your wolf riders too.
No.
Or are they behind the tree?
They're behind the tree. You just can't see them. There's 3 in the front, 2 in the back.
Okay.
They kind of shifted position a bit. And we have that. And these guys, of course, on the left moved around to just get in better position to deal with the spider. If it, he's thinking if after it survives the chariot, he'll just shoot it up a little bit and hopefully put a couple wounds on it.
Okay.
Over there. And over here, he did kill quite a bit. 5, 6, 7 of me, but they have 2 attacks each.
Yeah.
But
plus the 2 from each raptor.
Yeah, but I whipped out the great weapons and just chopped him.
Yeah, I just figured number of attacks you
chopped him up.
Okay.
So that ended about how I hoped. The chariot
and his corsairs didn't run away.
No. Over here, the chariot got crushed. Before it did, it managed to put 2 more wounds on me, which is needing 6s to wound is really unfortunate.
So
you're
up to 7 now.
Yes, I'm up to 7. So I pivot around and face towards the center. but you can see where he placed his harpies, which is causing me a big problem.
Why is that?
I can't I can't wheel back in on those the side of that spider unit. I mean, it's the spear unit.
Oh.
And he's +1 to wound and all. And at this point, all he needs to do is get a single wound through before I go, and I'm dead.
Yeah, I think I'd rather munch the harpies anyway.
So I can't do it. So, yeah. So
I don't think, yeah, with that +1 to wound, I don't think I want to charge anybody.
There we go. And we're going to go back to turn 3. Back to turn 3, the Iron Orc's going to charge into the Corsair unit. And needing I don't know, I think it was an 18. I did the war cry on this one.
Okay.
Needing, I think it was 18 or so. The Wolf Rider is going to charge into his unit of archers with his mage in it.
Mm-hmm.
All I want is 1 to get there. I get the impact hits. He probably doesn't kill me. And then I direct the 2 wolves and the 3 goblins onto his mage to put the final wound onto him, is what I'm hoping.
Okay.
I do have a wound on me, and I'm coming out of the woods, so I'm taking 6 dangerous terrain checks, but average, that's only 1. Even if I roll above average, I take 2.
Yeah.
It's not that scary. That doesn't kill a chariot. He does have stand and shoot, but I'm in the woods at range charging, so it needs 6.
Yeah, to me, I think it's funny that it's not as scary to charge with chariots out of the woods as it is with cavalry.
Correct. Yeah, I have more wounds.
Yep. Well, because you can't do as many wounds as will kill a model. You know.
Correct. I'm not going to lose a model.
Yeah.
Unless I roll really.
I mean, you have multiple. You could because you have a multiple size unit, but normally with a regular chariot, something wrong with that as far as I'm concerned. But
the other thing he did after the last
took a big chance here charging those Corsairs. Those throwing weapons might take you out.
Yeah, because I am 5.5 away. So even with my +1 movement, I'm not within short range. I'm within short range, so he can't shoot, prevent him from shooting. What he did here in the combat with the Ed Bashers was he pivoted his chariot, and then it should be up against me.
So how many did he kill? 6, 7? I don't remember.
6 in the back plus another one, 7.
7. Okay.
One of them being the champion. The champion took the challenge from the Manicore rider. Okay. Or actually, he did not challenge. The champion issued a challenge, and the Manicore rider took it.
Okay.
Like I said, he pivoted his chariot sideways so that it's now the front of it is facing the spider, and the spider can't get past the building to get to him. And since he's on a 50 wide base, and so is the Manicore, I can't charge the Manicore. So can't come to their aid, and without that, the spider decides to go kill some harpies.
Why can't you charge the Manicore?
It's the same width as the chariot.
Right.
And it's right up against it, so I can't hit it.
You can't go corner to corner?
Not to my knowledge. I mean, it's exactly covered. I can't hit the front, was my thinking.
I guess you can't come into contact, and you'd have to come into contact.
I could be wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong, people. Anyway. But I was assuming I couldn't do it. So we did that. And chariots needed to roll an 8. That was correct.
And you rolled a 7?
I would have been very upset if I rolled a 7.
Okay.
I did not.
Okay.
The Iron Orcs charged, and the unit that they were fighting, the Corsairs, ran away and they fled and lost a ton in the building.
Okay.
5 out of the 9, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
My Wolf Riders ran up 18 so they could get some parting shots at them, not letting those guys come back. And the 2 Boar Rider units came up to where you see them to kind of help out in the center.
Okay.
My big unit of Boar Riders with my general in it.
So your Iron Orcs is a failed charge.
Yes. They have repositioned themselves so now they can see down the front of my unit.
Okay, if it's still there.
If it's still there. And it should be. It's a re-rollable 9 to stand, or 8 because of the fear. And I decided to park on top of the bolt thrower.
Is he in contact with your characters?
He's in contact. Yeah, the big guy, BSB, is in contact with my BSB, and the chariot's in contact with my mage.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole front rank is in combat.
No, I understood. I was more if the Manicore guy was in contact with both of your characters.
No, just one of them.
Okay.
So there's that. I charged in, killed 5 of them before they went. The remaining 3 managed to put a wound on the spider and kill it. I mean, I wasn't going to do much after this, but at least they would have been dead, and I would have been, out there in the field. If you noticed, he moved his, at last turn, he moved his bolt thrower back to get out of 24 of me. Because he doesn't want the blaze spell to be able to hit him.
Right. Okay, so you charged in, so what? Are they agility 5? I don't remember.
I don't recall. I think they might be 5.
Were they 4? I don't remember.
They're not, either way, only 3 attacked me. So that they must be 4s.
So, okay, so they must be 4s. So
my spider killed 5 of them.
Well, your 4s, you'd have been, it must be 4s. And then you didn't get a chance to, and your character's got what, a great weapon?
Great weapon.
Okay, yeah. That's why, all right.
Yeah, and the goblins are only 3 on the charge, so I think they must be 4s to fit right in that knight's little fit right in the middle of that. But yeah, wasn't thrilled with taking a wound from them.
Yeah, no, that's just bad luck.
It happens.
They've 2 attacks each, right?
Do they?
I believe so, yeah.
So over here, I fired the bolt thrower around and pegged off 2 of the...
at a flank, didn't see it.
Yep, the flank, correct. And pegged off 2 of his Dark Riders. They fled, ran through the scouts, and they fled.
So 2 panics, okay.
Right. Now, when they fled through the scouts run from the nearest, so that's why they're kind of going at a different angle.
Okay.
Over here, my chariots came in. I managed to put the wound on the mage and kill a bunch of the archers. And both my chariots are facing to the left. I was messing around with it.
Saying, this is an illegal formation.
Yeah. Well, that way we can't get charged from either flank.
Yeah, it's always,
It's a nice formation.
Form testudo with chariots.
But anyway, I gave him the flank.
You've been watching too much Gladiator.
I was hoping it would keep me out of his, out of the arc of that unit, and I thought he was going to have trouble charging me because he's got to be able to wheel past the other unit. You know what I'm saying? The back end of him can't clip the other unit as he's pivoting. Was what I was doing when I was setting that up. This turn, he issued no challenge, so I did not either. And he put everything he had into the unit and just munched them. Now, he does have one thing going for him. The chariot guy has and I think it might be both of them, have the, what's it called? The military academy training.
Yeah.
And one of the things it does is I count as having 1 rank less for purposes of steadfast. And if he has a rank, he counts as 1 rank more.
Yeah.
So anyway, if he would have killed 2 more, then I would only have a single rank, and I count as 1 rank less, which I think means I count as 0, and he breaks me.
Yeah.
But anyway, so my return attacks, I got Bring the Pain off on the chariot, and my return attacks put 3 wounds on the chariot and 2 on the mana core between that last turn and this.
Did he opt not to attack your mage?
He did not direct any attacks at my mage or BSB.
Huh, okay.
Again, he kills 2 more, and I think I break.
Yeah, I understand.
So I think that was probably the better bet, although he did kill a crap load. Anyway, because I've got no saves of any kind versus
I think I'd have been tempted to challenge just to reduce the casualties.
Just to kill a character.
I mean,
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
No, I wanted both characters.
And you want them, but you know.
So we measured it out, and he can make this charge. So it basically means nothing, my deployment there. With the spears into my wolf chariots. So he's going to do that. And there you go, spink.
Oh, we could get a lot in. Okay.
Yeah, he got like 3 in.
Not that it doesn't matter too much. But.
Right. Yeah, it's not going to me, I didn't think it was going to make a huge difference. Because he did that, the bolt thrower fires off. I don't think he made his rally check on his Corsairs, and they're still running.
Okay.
Bolt thrower got, line of fire, got there, and he shot off all 5 of my Wolf Riders.
Oh, okay. That's only 8 shots.
Yeah, well, yeah. and hitting me on 4s, so it's not that, Anyway. So there you have that. They got shot off. He only killed one chariot. He rolled terrible and did 3 wounds.
Uh-huh.
I killed a couple more of maybe one more of the archers, broke and ran, and sitting out here in the middle of the field.
And he had you run that way. Oh,
he made me run that way. I thought he was going to make me run through the building and pop me.
Yeah.
But he was hoping I would run low and get in the way of the boar boys.
Oh.
Is what I think he might have been hoping.
Okay.
But as it is, he sent me back there. Mm-hmm. This round of combat, I killed both his characters that were in this big fight down here.
Oh, wow.
And he butchered a bunch more orcs. So I've got 4 orcs. I've got my command. Oh, sorry. My champion's dead. So I've got my banner musician and 2 orcs and my 2 characters left.
Okay.
His harpies fly up, and that's as far as they can get to where you see them there. They came here to block me off from getting to the fight before he knew what the fight was going to go.
Right.
So they were keeping the boar riders out. And I am thrilled because I screwed up, and my general's on the wrong. I put my general on the right side of the unit so he could keep the 12 inches to the 2 boar units. But by doing that, I wasn't pivoted enough so that the general could slip through a gap and get in there if he needed
by himself. Okay.
Right.
His harpies didn't run away.
What's that?
His harpies didn't run away.
Oh, and they made their save as well. I mean, their
break from
check
that,
as well. Correct.
Losing units.
And there's no general, no BSB there.
Right.
They're both dead. They're both dead at this point.
Yeah.
No, sorry. That's his general.
The BSB's dead.
His BSB's dead, but his general's right there in the front corner of this unit. So we got that.
Because I think harpies the one that can't. I don't remember.
Can't what?
Use the general's leadership.
I believe they can.
Can't remember who it was.
So the back to my turn. The boar boys are going to declare a charge at his. Declared at a charge at his corsairs. They fled, didn't go very far. The other boar boys moved up to where if he hits them,
his handgun, his bolt. Damn it, his bolt thrower guys, not his corsairs.
What?
I assume the corsairs ran off the table.
No, the corsairs are where you see them right there. They already fled from me.
Those are the corsairs, or those are the? That's his bolt. That's his crossbow guys.
Oh, you're right. Correct. It is. Sorry. I'm sorry. I declared a charge at one. They fled. I redirected into the other, and they fled as well. And that's where. Sorry, you're right. I forgot all about that. His corsairs ran off the table, and his crossbow guys ended up there.
Okay.
I did a failed charge and stopped an inch away from the building to where I am, where you see me. My chariot did not make its rally check, even though it was a 9, and continued to run towards the edge of the board.
I figured you'd send somebody to kill those harpies.
I wanted to, but I don't want to get close to those units.
And just flee if they charged you.
Yeah. Well, the only thing I've got.
Well, you get characters.
Yeah. Well, my characters can't run. All my characters are feral.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
So we got that. And there he comes forward.
And your chariot ran through your army?
He did, but they don't care about it.
So what did it do? Hit the first one and bounce all the way through?
No, it was actually right here in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Just the only thing it hit was my boar boys.
Okay.
Because my other boar boys had not moved up to there yet.
Okay. And your iron orcs should turn them towards the center.
Yep. And back to the bottom of this turn.
Okay, so a lot of arrows.
A lot of charges. So first thing he did was charge the boar boys on the far right. I took it.
Okay.
Then the other unit of spears charged my unit with my BSB mage and 4 orcs. They didn't want to deal with that, so they backed. I checked, and even if they back up, the harpies still can't see them because they're pivoted too much to the other side.
Oh, okay.
So I was safe to run and not get charged off by the harpies.
But don't you have like 6 wounds to 1, 2, 3, 4 wounds?
What are you talking about?
You said your characters are all feral.
It's models for feral.
Is it
models for that? Yes.
No, it's not the wound pool. I don't remember. Okay.
If it is, I cheated. But whatever. So he redirects and goes into the boar boys in the center. The boar boys in the center didn't like that, so they fled. The harpies declared their first charge at the chariot. It ran off the board, and then it redirected into my get launcher.
Okay.
Simply because it was a long charge, and he didn't really want to make it with 2 harpies, because I had hit them with 2 blaze spells and killed 1. By the way, just want to point that out.
They'd be fine against your. They might kill it. They might get lucky.
No, three goblins and a bully with 6 wounds.
Well, you got wounds on you already, don't you?
I had 1 that I self-inflicted.
Okay.
That's a good point. So there you go. That, and so they end up moving to where you see them. The harpies on a failed charge, because they continued after the chariot rather than the bolt thrower. I'm sorry.
That doesn't matter.
No. Anyway, that's where they ended up.
Yeah.
Didn't matter. And the boar boys made it in over here. He actually did no wounds to me, if I'm recalling that.
Spearman made it in.
Actually, he did kill 2. Where is it? Something missing. Okay. Over here, he's rallied these guys, and they're heading back into the field. Did he not cause any wounds to me at all there? He's rallied his archers. Oh, there we go. There's the fight. He did 1 to me. I did nothing to him. Mm-hmm. So we both rolled terrible.
He's got okay armor, and he's attacking you. He's not defending. So.
Right. Well, I've got 8 strength, 4 attacks, and killed not a single elf is pretty bad.
No, I mean him hurting you is,
correct. Anyway, he has +1 to wound on the first turn, so he's wounding me on 4s.
Yeah, I understand, but it still doesn't get to your armor.
He killed 1, so he got a charge banner and a wound. Mm-hmm. Pushes me back. I fled. He elected not to chase.
Did you flee far enough?
I fled like 5.
No, I mean, is there a big enough gap between you and...
There's like a 5.5 inch gap between me and the...
Okay.
Only because I took the wound, of course, on the right guy.
Okay.
And gave me an extra bit of movement space over there. So it's my turn now.
Okay, so hold on. So he rallied the previous turn then, and now he's bringing back his 2 units. Okay, so we missed the rally though on the other turn. Okay.
So now I'm finally tired of these harpies on turn 5, and I'm going to charge them and get rid of them with my big unit of boar boys.
And he opted to chase your infantry, not your cavalry, the spear block that had the failed charge.
Correct.
Also, okay.
Yeah, he didn't want to risk exposing a flank or anything.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that rule.
Oh, after you redirect, choosing who you chase?
Yeah, I think you should have to chase whoever you redirect it towards.
So I crushed the harpies, overran, because, whatever.
Sure.
And I rallied my unit down here.
Okay.
That flea marker should not be on them anymore because they did rally. They
were distracted by the laser being shot across their bow.
When they reformed after the rally, they made sure to keep the horses in front of them, the raiders in front of them, so they couldn't get flank charged.
Okay, what's going on with those boar boys?
Boar boys rallied, and this is turn 5, so I've got to get to that marker by turn 6. So
all right.
They're facing that because they do not have musicians.
And the other boar boys?
And the other boar boys actually rallied as well.
Rallied all, but you weren't sure, so you turned to face.
Yeah. And so back to his turn. His
bolt thrower moved. I didn't notice that.
His bolt thrower moved, advanced 5. So it's coming back into the fight. It moved forward because it wanted to shoot at the Iron Orcs, I believe.
Right, and he rallied his crossbow.
Yeah, he rallied his crossbows. So he also charged.
Yeah, because it can move and shoot.
Yes.
The bolt thrower
charged me with his spear block and the raiders.
And the raiders. Okay.
And I got on my turn. I cast the Born to Fight spell on his unit.
Okay.
So I can reroll to hits. I was hoping it was going to convince him not to charge. Apparently, it wasn't enough of a deterrent.
So his general's in there and your general's in there?
Both generals are in this fight, correct.
Okay.
And I do still have a champ.
What happened with the fight with your Iron Orcs? Did you wipe him out, or are you still fighting? What's going on?
The Iron Orcs just blew through his last remaining spearman.
Okay.
Yeah, he killed one of me, I think, and then they crushed him.
Okay.
And chase him. Next picture, he forgot about his razor standard. So he killed 3 of me. I killed a bunch of him. I killed 3 of me, and did I not kill very many of him? Anyway,
Did you guys get in the challenge?
I thought I lost this fight by 3. We did not. The characters are not fighting each other. I didn't challenge.
So no challenge. Okay.
Right. So anyway, I lost this combat by 2 or 3. Made my roll, stuck around because my BSB is within range.
It's like you killed a cavalryman.
Killed
You
one.
lost 3 guys. He had a charge. He had a flank.
Right.
You both had standards.
Yeah, I don't think I didn't kill many.
So it's like you did much to him.
I think maybe he challenged with his champ.
Okay.
He couldn't have because the champ died early. Anyway.
Okay.
Anyway, so back to turn 6. So it's finally turn 6. The I made a stupid mistake here. The BSB charged out alone into the flank of this.
Why so?
Why did he charge out alone?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to, I did it without measuring because, whatever. I wanted to march this unit up around and get within close to the marker. But if the unit's right there, I'm within close to the marker anyway, so it didn't matter.
Okay.
Anyway, just a dumb brain fart. I'm so used to charging out of units, I can't stay.
Okay.
The Black Orcs decide to charge the bolt thrower just to get rid of it. And both the orc units head over there to the marker. You'll see in a picture in a minute, I guess. So this fight continues. The BSB charging in kills the 2 riders. This fight, he kills 3 of me, and I just hammered him. My general, he did not challenge, and my general just unloaded onto the unit.
Okay.
And killed a bunch. The whole thing you see back there. And combat res, he only did 3. I have much more, and he breaks, and I run him down.
And what's going on with the bolt thrower Iron Orcs?
The Iron Orcs killed the bolt thrower and reformed where you see him there. He just picked up the bolt thrower and moved it back instead of all the way off the board. And also on this turn, oops, back up. Guess it doesn't matter. And the Orcs won 19-1.
Okay.
Because that was it. On his final turn, he took the only thing he has left at the final turn is the 5 crossbowmen back there. They fired into the Iron Orcs to see if they could bring them down below quarter.
Right.
But did not do a single wound.
Yeah. Okay.
My Git launcher finally hit on the first casualties it did were on turn 6. Killed the remaining guys off to the left, the scouts.
Okay.
Yeah, on turn 6 it finally hit.
It paid for itself.
200 and something?
Yeah, they're not cheap.
Are they cheap? Okay, So that was it, and it turned out to a 19-1. Didn't quite make it up to the...
Okay.
I missed the 1 unit.
But you got the objectives because you had...
I've got the objective. It was
both of them.
16-4 with the objectives. I had both.
Yeah.
Again, this is the mistake that better players than me don't make. I should have rallied the unit on the back right first, the bottom right, to know which way I could face the other unit. Because if I would rally them first and they rallied like they did,
right,
then I could have turned the other unit around and have them available to go to the center if necessary on the final turn. You know what I'm saying? It turned out not to be needed, but again, it's just one of those little details you got to look for every turn.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah, I should have rallied the one on the back right. If they success, the other guys could do what they want.
I thought you were worried about the last minute bolt or panicking one of your guys off or something.
I was also make sure, if you noticed in the other picture, when they both went out there towards the token, they were more than 6 inches apart, so they could not both be panicked off.
Yeah, I thought that's the reason you did it, was because you were, in case you couldn't get rid of the bolt thrower and you got a shot after you.
Yeah, I wanted to, anyway, wanted to make sure I could.
Yeah, so I guess my point is I don't think it was,
wasn't as bad as I thought.
Yeah, I think, to me, it's a legitimate thing. Would have been a legitimate thing to do even if you didn't rally the other way.
All right, but that was it. It was my first game against the Dark Elves.
Dread Elves?
Dread Elves. I don't like a lot about this army. There's really 3 things that bug me about the army. The bolt thrower I think is really good. I don't know if it's too good or not for the points or not. I'm just saying that's really good.
I compare it to any type of organ gun, and I think it's fine. You just have to determine what the right points are for it.
Right. I think it needs to be a little bit higher in points at where it is now. Maybe the spell is my biggest problem with this army at the moment.
Yeah, I don't like the spell at all.
And the the academy training, where it's +1 to wound on the first turn. That's I don't know. It's hard to price that. The problem is, even the Undying Dynasty's Dread Sphinx, their toughness 8. This thing can kill one on the first turn.
Yeah, I mean, it ends up being
they're wounding on 5s.
It ends up being an anti-monster mash army,
right?
I mean, the army's still strength 3 all over the place, so it's not, and it doesn't help with the armor save. So that rule doesn't bother me.
Yeah, but I mean, he's brutalizing my orcs on 4s.
Well, you're brutalizing him with your +1 strength.
I need to. That just
every round, as long as you got more ranks.
They're
than him,
elves.
So.
They deserve everything they get.
Yeah.
Come on.
So I don't consider it any worse than, I actually think yours is
Mine's I will not.
Is much worse. Is actually much worse. Is more powerful than his.
Look, in general, because it helps me all the time, and his only helps me. His really helps him better against.
His is really good against big monsters. That's
even works.
It gives him a big. Well, I say it doesn't help against the armor. That's the main thing.
Yep.
So a lot of infantry fights, it's gonna help get those wounds in, but it just makes the big monsters have to think twice about fighting, these, or how they attack them or whatever, or which units attack, because not everyone has academy training. But yeah, that one doesn't bother me.
Yeah. And we've talked about it before. The movement 6 really puts you right up there with Cav as far as your range of charges.
The charge range.
But anyway.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me conceptually. I think there's a bigger mechanics problem in the game with how charges work.
Correct. We've talked about it before.
Yeah.
The difference between the infantry range and the cav.
Right.
Anyway.
Especially since one has to charge and the other one, they failed. Oh well. So.
All right. Well, that's going to do it.
Okay.
Thanks for listening.
Till next time.